Welcome to the Dental Implant Practices podcast, where each episode will explore how to integrate dental implants into your practice and into bone, with your host, Dr. Phillip Gordon.
Hello and welcome back to the Dental Implant Practices podcast. I'm your host, Phillip Gordon, and today we're going to have a solo riff about some ideas I wanted to share with you. This one is called the Mona Lisa podcast, and it's a little out there, so hang with me. Let's start with the idea that, does Mona Lisa need implants? Is that why she's smirking and not smiling? Would she look different with teeth? How would the world see her? Would she be happier or still so somber and mysterious? Let's think about, there's so much noise out there, and the reason I have this Dental Implant Practices podcast is to be a place to get away from the noise and to find the truth, to share what works, and this is some ideas that I wanted to share with you. So everybody wants to put a mustache on the Mona Lisa and call themselves an artist. But I'd say go paint your own freaking painting. I've invented nothing, and I've found and discovered something that was lost and essential. It was lost because marketing and other agencies with agendas wanted you to believe that there was more to it, and you weren't allowed to know. But the big secret is this: they don't know crap. They just sell it better and put it in a fancy box. I wish someone had shared this with me 10 years ago, and I didn't have to discover it on my own. That's why I'm sharing this with you now. Do you want to be successful? Are you willing and able to endure more comfort and discomfort than your competitors? Get comfortable being uncomfortable. That's the big secret. There's nothing more important than being able to outwork your competition. Now let's get back to the Mona Lisa painting. The painting is hung in the Louvre in Paris, France. Do you think many people wonder, how is the Mona Lisa hung on the wall? Do you think people wonder what type of screw is holding up the painting, or do they just want to go see the most famous painting in the world? If the screws do their job, isn't that all anyone cares about? For the screws are just holding it up, and nobody cares about the screws. It's the painting the world sees. It's her smile we see. Just think about that as you think about dental implants. Let's go into a little history about the Leonardo's Mona Lisa. The Mona Lisa is by far the best known, most visited, most written about, sung about, and by far the most popular piece of art in the world. The half-length portrait of Lisa Gherardini, her real name, done by Italian Renaissance artist Leonardo da Vinci, also comes with a rich history of casualties. The most notorious one happened in August 21st, 1911, when the painting was stolen. It was the French painter Louis Braud who came to the Louvre the following day and saw that the painting was strangely missing. As he wanted to sketch the Mona Lisa at the Louvre, he asked the guards for the painting, but they supposed that it was being photographed for some advertising at the museum. Louis returned to the Mona Lisa section a couple hours later, only to find that the famous art piece was still missing from the pegs where it was meant to stand. The Mona Lisa was indeed stolen. The Louvre closed down for a whole week, and investigation was opened at once. The thief was found 2 years later. It was Vincent Peruggia, who worked at the Louvre. He was an Italian-born. Peruggia carried out what has been described as the greatest art theft of the 20th century. It was almost like a thriller episode, as he had stolen Da Vinci's masterpiece during regular work hours at the museum, hiding in a broom closet until after hours, and walked out with it hidden under his coat. As an Italian patriot, Vincenzo believed that the painting should have been returned for the display at an Italian museum. In 1932, a newspaper story published in the Saturday Evening Post described the events, and the original Mona Lisa had remained in Europe safely stored in Peruggia's apartment. He was caught after attempting to sell the painting to the directors of the Uffizi Gallery in Florence. The painting was in fact exhibited at the Italian Gallery for a little more than 2 weeks, after which it was returned to the Louvre on January 4th, 1914. Peruggia was charged with 6 months in prison for the theft, but was saluted for his patriotism in his native country. Thanks to him, Mona Lisa became really famous as well. Before that, the Renaissance piece remained little known outside the art circles. More scandals occurred around the painting in the following decades. In 1956, part of the Mona Lisa was damaged after a vandal threw acid at it. A speck of pigment near Mona Lisa's left elbow was also damaged on December 30th that same year after a rock was thrown at it, but the damage was quickly restored. In 1974, the painting was also displayed at a guest exhibition at the Tokyo National Museum. A woman upset by the museum's policy for disabled people spray painted it with red paint. And in 2009, a Russian woman, displeased as she was not issued a French citizenship, threw a teacup purchased at the Louvre at the painting. Luckily for these 2 later incidents, the famous painting remained undamaged, being protected by bulletproof glass. So what is Mona Lisa smiling about? I think she knows a secret, but will she ever share it with the world? Who knows? My secret to share with you is this. It's not the wand, but it's the magician that does the magic. Get really good at your craft, and you can make a masterpiece out of anything. Now let's switch gears a bit and talk about business. If McDonald's can sell 1 billion burgers, why can't we sell life-changing implant dentistry? With the right leadership leading to the right management, you can change people's lives. Managing is helping people do what they did yesterday but faster and cheaper, staying the course. What does a good day look like for a manager? Leadership is doing something that might not work, taking a leap of faith, pointing to a challenge and an opportunity and a problem and saying, I'm going over there. Who wants to come? What does a good leadership day look like in your office? Is the primary goal to make implant dentistry accessible to all, or to make implant dentistry perfect to all who want it done right? Is there a way to do both? When you say, I had a good day today at your work, what are you measuring? Ray Crock was a leader. He saw a way to the vision, but he also managed every detail along the way. Quality and continuous improvement are at the cornerstones of success. Patient centricity, do what's best for the patient. Self-reliance, reduce your overhead and reduce your steps needed. Staff centricity, get the best possible help and treat them well. Frugality, spend money wisely to achieve your goals. Don't worry about getting more, but worry how to get better. Build systems, manage the numbers, incentivize the team to get the numbers better. What are you measuring? Leadership always hits a speed bump. This forces us to dig in for a better way, and this is when you need to stay true to your principles. When we point to the work we did, what are we keeping track of? What stories do you tell? These are the choices that each of us get to make. Let's think about a concept here. Your patients can think you can hire just about any dentist. And you're in luck, since I'm just about any dentist, they can hire you. But it's time to start avoiding the commodity healthcare trap. You can fill your days as a dentist taking easy, accessible work from clients who simply want you to meet the lowest possible spec. Or you can build your career as a dental implant freelancer by getting better patients. Patients that want better work. Offices that offer the lowest common denominator jobs for dentistry are focused on the generic. They intentionally blur the identities of the people doing the work, a simple 3-star rating corporate facade meeting cheap reliability. That's all. These are easy jobs to get. If you're the cheapest, you'll be busy all day. But is being cheap and busy really the point? Because that's a race to the bottom. And the problem with that is you might win that race. You're not generic, so why act that way? The alternative is to be distinct, to be uniquely you, to bring a point of view to work and sophistication, one that is worth seeking out, paying for, and remarking on. It is the difference between what do you need me to do and I can offer you this. It is the difference between being handy and indispensable. Why is this so difficult? A couple reasons. The first problem is that the typical client doesn't want that. The typical client wants cheap and reliable, and you're not going to persuade the typical client to change his or her mind, which means that if you're going to do your best work, you need to send the typical client to someone else. The second problem is that it takes guts to be specific, to stand for something, to turn down mediocre work for clients that will settle for mediocre. It takes guts to have a point of view, a protocol, and a skill set. It takes guts to make a stand. Your day is priceless. You only get it once, and then another chance tomorrow. Your career is what you invest in it. And if you spend your days building a career that consists of doing reliable work by being the lowest bidder, you've bought yourself a job that's hardly worth rewarding or steady. The alternative, the one you deserve, is to find better clients. Not to resent your ordinary clients, but to focus your energy and your passion earning better ones. To become sort of dental implant freelancers who can proudly say that you deserve it because your clients deserve your best work. I hope you'll consider joining our Dental Implant MBA Conference. It takes guts and support to make these choices, and it helps to find others like you on a similar journey. That's what we do. Assemble and connect and inspire the sort of people you want next to you as you go on this journey. Join me. The steps are well lit. Thanks for listening, and see you next time.